To show you how to play That's Amore, as sung by Dean Martin. If you want the letter notes for that, go to LetterNotePlayer.com. I have them there for you. Let's start with the melody on this, because some of you may just want to play the melody in the right hand. We've got, it opens up with the little intro in A minor. We start off in the key of A major once we get into the melody. But it starts off in an A minor, D minor sound right there and ends up in an E major, which leads us to A. Now you start off in A and then we modulate to B flat partway through, so halfway through. So we modulate and end in the key of B flat. We go up a half step. But that intro melody starts like this: E, A, B, C, A, B, A, F, A, B, A, E, D, C, D, E. And then we come in with the melody on an A here, with the key of A chord, but we're on a C sharp right there. C sharp, B, A, C, G sharp, F sharp, E, B. Then we start on a B, B, A, G sharp, A, G, E, F sharp, C sharp. And then we're in the, stay in that arpeggio of A, C sharp, E, A. So we just do that. B, F sharp, G sharp, E. Then G sharp, B, G sharp. And here we're going to go G sharp, B, G sharp, F sharp, G sharp. G sharp, F sharp, C sharp. So there you have the basic melody for the whole piece. And your main two chords in the key of A are A and E. In the key of B flat, it's B flat and F. But we start off with an A minor chord. Now we'll go to that introduction. A minor chord with A on top, C, E, A. A minor is all white notes with starting on A, but we'll put the A on top. Go to a D minor chord. So you're going from A, all we do is change two fingers, then we've got D minor, back to A, then we slide all three fingers down to an E chord with E in the middle. E, G sharp, B is your E chord, white, black, white. But we're going to put the E in the middle, so we're already here, 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 and then we go to E chord, and then they end it with an E, and then a rolled G sharp, B, E in the right hand. And then there's a little fill right here. So both hands are going to go E, D, C sharp, B, A. And I play it with all five fingers. And when you hit that A, immediately move the right hand to an A chord. So it's E, A, C sharp. Left hand, you're just going to go A, very short, A, E, B, E, B, E. So you're going to go back and forth between A and E and B and E. And when you're having the A chord, you're going to have A and E. When you're having the E chord, you're going to have B and E. So we're going to... So it'll go back and forth between those two chords. But all we're going to play is the A and the E, just like they do with their bass player on the recording. And make them short. If you get them long, it's not going to hurt it, but it sounds better if you can keep them short. Now, they have instruments that come in and do this fill. To get that feeling of the instruments, I'm going to take it up an octave. And you can play it fingers two different ways that work for me. If I start on this ring finger, G sharp, F sharp, E, F sharp, E, B, or G, F sharp, E, F sharp, E. So I can end on the thumb, or I can cross over. you're going right to that B afterwards. So either way works for me on that. And lift off of that each time. Did you notice how I go? And do the same thing. Space in there after the G sharp and after the A. And so that second time, now we're going to go up to an A, E, F sharp, G sharp, F sharp, C sharp. The only way that works for me to finger that is little finger, thumb, third and fourth finger, and end on the thumb, on the black key. So you've got a little triplet in there. So then drop all the way down to this C sharp. And this time you go up the octave, but you just keep it pretty simple. B, A, G sharp, E. Now here, you're going to have to switch to the, if you start with this index finger, you're going to have to switch to the middle finger because you're going to go. And you got to get that and then have that thumb ready to go. So what I'll do is I'll switch, I'll hit this with an index finger, but then I switch right here. So the last two of those fills are easy. The one is, and the last one, those others have a little triplet in there. Start with the G sharp. And we better get into it so that you can see the way the fingering goes. See, if you can come down on on the middle finger right there, it's better. And then we go right into the second verse without hesitating, but you can hold that C sharp a little bit. Just he changes the melody a little bit. He drops down to the C sharp. And this fill is going to be a little different. B, C sharp, D, E, D, B, F sharp, E. Then we go back to the B. Now here it changes right there. So we're going to go to that C sharp in the melody. And so we're going to F sharp, D, C sharp, and then the fill is going to go, it's going to be a D sharp chord or a C sharp chord, C sharp major chord, so you're going to go D sharp, F, G sharp, C sharp, B, C sharp, B, A sharp, so you're going to, okay, so it ends up with that sound. Let's see, so you got that added 6 coming in at the very end of it. But you're going to play in the right hand. And then we're going to throw in an F sharp chord in there. And then we're going to go to the B right there. It's a B minor. It's a B minor sound right there. B, D, F sharp, A. B minor 7th right there. We're going to go to a D major sound. And then back to the A. And we're going to walk that bass down. A, G sharp, F sharp, E. So let's get into that and come up. You know, you're going to a G sharp, and then to an F sharp, then to a B, D, then to an A, G sharp, F sharp, E, and make them short. If you can remember to make all those notes short, it'll be better. Now here we go to a B, D, then with the C sharp you've got an A right there. Back to the B. And here we're going to modulate. So you're ending on that A. And then what we're doing there is we're taking the common tone A out of the A chord and we're putting it into the third of the F chord. Right to the F chord with that, using that A as a modulating tool, and then we get to an F7, and that leads us right into B flat. So we're using that. We're going from the A to the F to the F7. Now, what I'm going to play in the right hand is, let's see, we're coming out of the key of A. We're going to go 3 of those A Cs, and then we're going to walk that C up to a D to an E flat. Meanwhile, we'll keep the F down here in the bottom, and then we're already in the key of B flat. So let me play that coming right into the modulation, and I'll slow it down as we get to the modulation so that you can see how they all fit together. Key of B flat. Now, the only thing that changes, you go to, instead of A and E, you're going to B flat, F, B flat, F, C, F, C, F, and then the melody changes. Now the melody is D, C, B flat, D, C, B flat, A, G, F, C, C, B flat, A, C, B flat, A, C flat, F, G, D. And then we have the little fill notes. I'll show you the fill notes as we go. So we hold that back on the D and the C, and then we're into the B flat. Now here's the deal. On that verse, that reprise verse, the chorus comes in and sings with him. So you got boys, you got male voices and girls' voices, women's voices singing, and then you've also got him singing along with it. So they're singing along with it, and he does the fill part at the first. So I'm going to keep it in his octave. Now when they're all singing, I'm going to be up in this octave. Then he echoes right in that octave. And then we come back with the full chorus. Echoes in this octave. Now the women's voices take over, and then the male voices answer, and then the women come back in, and then the males finish it up. The women take it again, and the women are going to do this. They're going to go, and then they're going to sing. And they're going to hold that while the men go. And then everybody. And then he ends up with a little echo, a little humorous, lucky fellow. So I'll play that right here. So my right hand is going to move around a little bit. Let me show you the right hand just by itself. he is singing. Now the ladies, men, ladies, men, the ladies, still, they hold it through. And the only way I can do that, I'd have to get my left hand involved, and I've got the left hand pulsating the bass. So I'm going to play the men's voices with. So the only thing I'm going to hold through is that C right there, and that will be like the ladies holding that part through. So here it is with the bass in there. Here it comes in at the bottom of a page. It's a perfect time for a page sort because you can hold that with your right hand and change the page. But they're going to come in with a harmony right there. Instead of just the melody, they're going to have a B flat and a D and an A and a C, and then go right back into the melody. This time the chorus sings that, so I'm not going to take it down into his octave. But let me show you how to, on that left hand, what you can do coming into that with that lucky fellow. So the left hand, you can hit the F and then leave him by himself. So if you want to hit that B flat, it's not going to get in the way, but you don't have to. E flat, D, and it's best if you can hit that with a thumb because you're going to go right into a D arpeggio. D, F sharp, A, D, C, D, C, B. So see right here. Now you're going to have two Ds and two Gs, and then we'll play the tag. You can separate those or you can hold them through. Either way. Now you're going to hit an E flat there and you're going right into a C minor chord. And then we're going to go to an E flat chord. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to play these E flat and G together because I've got the B flat up there. So you'll see it. To this B flat and walk it down. Now the chorus is going to come in on this G flat. They're going to go to this G flat, da, 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 da. Just as a change. So you go. And all I'm going to play is the G flat and the bass. And now you're going to go right to the B flat, right back to the B flat. Now what you're going to do in the bass is you're going to go B flat, B flat, B flat, hold, and then pop it with the right hand. So you got... And then they just end with that little clip. And the two hands together. So slow it down so that you can see it. Just the same arrangement as Dean Martin uses in his That's Amore. Hope you enjoy playing it.